jumping on here to share with you all our live 45-minute yoga flow. I don't want to go too much into what's happened today, but I want to remind you all that we really have the choice to practice gratitude and compassion right now, and it feels amazing. Earlier this morning when, of course, we heard the news of Newcastle closing down for a week, it's up to us if we choose to respond or react. And in my body, I just couldn't help feeling gratitude. I've just got so many things right now that I've been working on that the space is perfect to be able to share stuff like this, to be able to really lean into my book and share some teachings out of that, to do stuff online, to open up this body image coaching that I'm now doing. I feel so fucking grateful. I was able to get in the water today, to go to movement, to do Merriweather Stairs. I've got my online group tonight that I'm working with for the 6-week immersion. I just feel pumped. And that's a choice. It's so easy to get caught up in things, and I just want to bring it down to gratitude. And for me, I'm like, well, I really feel like moving. I really feel like grounding down on my mat and appreciating my body for everything that it can do. So if you want to join me, we're going to go for about 45 minutes. I don't know, I never really plan anything other than we're here now. So let's see what happens with this yoga practice. If you are jumping online and joining me, give me a little bit of a wave, let me know that you're here. Or if you watch this on replay, I'd love to know how you found it. I hope that you have fun. I hope that you can find a little bit of space and calm in the chaos. And remember that no matter what unfolds around us, right? No matter what goes on in our environment, we always have the opportunity to make a choice and choose again. So we'll get started. I will be moving around a little bit clearly. I've got a little bit of a limited space here. I usually use the other way, but with the sun where it is at the moment, I'm just making do with the best I've got. If you do have a yoga block, then always grab that. But other than that, the only other thing you might need is a furry friend. If you've got one of them, grab them too. They might get in and out of your mat, and we'll see how it goes. But I invite you to take a seat, whether or not you are cross-legged on your block, or maybe you are just in a kneeling position. It doesn't matter. Just find somewhere where you're comfortable. We're going to start here with a little bit of breath work before we start to move. And I want you to just pay attention now to the first step that I talk about in my book, the Be Here method. And it's what I've been sharing this week with all of the guys that are on my WatchYALanguage 6-week immersion, and it is listening to our bodies. So with your eyes closed, I want you to notice what you can actually feel going on in your body. Notice any tension around the shoulders. Notice any tension in and around the jaw. Notice how fast your heart may be beating. Notice the pace of your breath. Is there any other areas in your body that you are holding on to tension? And I guarantee you right now, it is absolutely not necessary. So as we start to breathe now, breathing from the belly up into the rib cage, and then into the lungs, and then letting the breath go down from the lungs, the rib cage, and the belly. I invite you on every single inhale to inhale what you're grateful for today. To take a moment to really feel into the things that made you smile, who you got to spend today with. The fact that you have a body, 2 feet, and a heartbeat. The fact that we got to have today. Breathe in that feeling. And as you breathe out, give yourself permission to soften your body. The tension is not needed right here. And I guarantee you that 99% of the time we hold tension in our shoulders, our jaw, and our face. We feel that we become reactive. It is not necessary. So let go. It is what it is. Whatever unfolds in front of us, we always have a choice to be compassionate, kind, and to release judgment. Judgment gets us nowhere. We say more about ourselves when we are judging than the person that we are throwing the judgment upon. So take a deep breath into gratitude. And exhale, give yourself permission to let go. Put that energy now back into yourself. Breathe in, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Breathe out, 4, 3, 2, 1. Keep going for 5 more rounds. Inhale, belly, rib cage, lungs. Exhale, lungs, rib cage, and belly. Keep going with your breath. When we stimulate and start our breathing from our belly, we actually are stimulating our vagus nerve, connecting our gut and our brain. By breathing deep into the belly, we send a neural message to actually let our nervous system know that we are okay. If we are chest breathing and in fight or flight, we are going to be reactive. We're going to hold tension. And that's where we are not allowing our nervous system to stay regulated. So whenever we feel triggered in our environment, when things happen around us that are hard, you have the opportunity to take a huge breath in and a breath out. Soften your shoulders, open your heart, and choose again. Take one more breath in and open your mouth and let it go. So if you were seated on a block, I'm going to get you to gently come off the block, however that is, and if your furry friend may allow it, who knows. And we're going to start to warm up our wrists. So fingers are spread really, really, really nice and wide here for our wrists. So we want to try to have as much space in between the fingertips as possible. Bringing the knees underneath the hips here and pressing down into the ground. From here, we're actually just going to start to move our bodies and our spines in all directions. So I want you to be intuitive and start to listen to what it is that you need in this moment. So taking your time to move around your spine. You guys just keep going with that. I'm just going to adjust the camera. It has just topped down a little bit. Please don't rush these spinal movements. It's really, really important to, let's try this. It's really, really important to tune into what it is you need. Your body will always tell you, right? Your body is always your teacher. Not any yoga teacher, not any movement teacher. Your body will always give you exactly what it is that you need in this moment. We just have to be quiet enough to listen. Beautiful. From this position, let's come up to tabletop, and we're going to find a sad dog. So we're going to scoop the tailbone under. So visualize that you have like a little bit of a fire underneath your belly, and you're pulling your belly button away from the tip of the flame. From here, we're going to maintain that tuck of the tailbone and start to do some circles here. So as you move through, there is some gentle pressure that I'm putting onto my wrists here. So slowly just moving around, the arms are straight, and I'm still trying to do my best to maintain a slight tuck of my tailbone here. So I like to say a sad dog. You know, when a dog puts their tails between their legs so that we really start to fire up those lower core muscles. Fingers are spread wide. Great. From here, we're going to bring our fingertips out to the side now like this, and we're going to start to rock side to side. So again, I'm huge on wrist mobility, hip mobility, all of that kind of jazz. because it is so important. If we don't look after these areas and we stack it, we fall, they're going to break. We have more than enough time to look after ourselves. You know, the amount of time that we can spend on things such as Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, it really doesn't do us any good. So choose to do the things that make you feel good. Turn your fingertips now back to face your knees and very, very gently just start to go forward and back. Again, it is about listening to your body, right? So what I mean by that, if something doesn't feel right for you, then don't do it, right? You will be the only one that can judge and answer that question. Beautiful. So we're going to talking about here. So we're going to start to warm them up. This is a little bit playful. For those of you that do my classes at Redhead and Yoga Bodyworks, we do this often, super fun. So bring the wrist back underneath the shoulders and they're going to slight tuck at the tailbone, extend the right arm out long and kick the left heel away. So really finding this contralateral balance now. And then we're going to soften the right elbow and the left hip. So I'm kind of getting myself tangled up into a little ball. You know, there's absolutely no right or wrong here. Maybe you reach back and grab the foot. Again, listen to what it is that you feel you need. Play around with getting super uncomfortable. So our hip is a ball and socket joint and our shoulders should be super mobile. So have a little play here, bend into the elbows, get a little bit wobbly. Maybe you face plant. Whatever happens here, have fun. Come back to neutral. From here, plant both hands down. Tuck your toes, pull the belly button into the spine as we find our first turbo cat. So really pull that belly button up and in. The knees are hovering about 2 centimeters off the ground here. Arms are dead straight and all you need to do is breathe. So if your mind has possibly gone to, oh shit, how long is she going to keep us here for? Then I invite you to come back to this moment and be present and try to focus on this next breath in and this next breath out. Keep pushing that ground away, holding for 5. Holding for 4, for 3, for 2, and for 1. Keep those toes untucked as you start to bring the body upright, sitting back onto the heels. If that's not available for you, then come up a little bit taller. And I invite you to start to roll your wrists out. So really nice circles here of the wrist. And then turning the wrist back the other way. So getting a really nice stretch of the underside of the feet. So again, for those of you who know me, I love talking about feet and they should not be in shoes. Our feet were never designed for shoes. So maybe in this week of lockdown, if you're in Newcastle, get out of your shoes often and come back to looking after those feet. I've actually just uploaded a video onto YouTube of 3-foot exercises you can do to re-strengthen and structure the muscles of your feet. Let's come back down to the ground. Tuck that tailbone slightly under, left arm goes forward this time, right leg goes back. Pull that belly button in towards the spine and keep your eyes on one spot as you start to move your right hip and your left arm and shoulder, and notice if one side is different to the other. So for me, this side feels much more unsteady today. And play around with different spaces. Maybe that right leg comes through. I don't know. Like, play around. Get yourself tangled into a little knot here and just move with curiosity. So get curious, not critical, about the things that unfold, especially in our bodies. We have possibly judged them or criticized them for long enough. It is now time more than ever to be grateful. Bring that knee and hand back down. From here, knees go wide and sink yourself back into a child's pose. And I want you to drop your head down to the ground, close your eyes. And I want you to remember that this child's pose is here whenever you need it, right? So whenever you feel you need to rest, I want you to take that time out to rest, to actually stop, And it's the same with the message that's going on at the moment. Hey Jenna, hey Warren. The message at the moment is for us all to stop. You know, that is the underlying message, I believe, of all of this. We are so busy, we are so worked up, we are so on edge all the time, and we are constantly doing. It is now time to pause and look after ourselves, to give back to receive. So know that this child's pose is here whenever you need it. Take a full breath in and a full breath out. Let's start to warm up our hips. So from this child's pose, we're going to start to step the left foot outside the left hand. So from here, just opening up into those hip flexors. The right hand stays down, the left hand comes up. Take a full breath in. And as you exhale, bring that left hand behind you. Beautiful. Inhale, lift up that left hand. Place the left hand back down into the mat and then come back to a crouch position. Right foot steps outside right hand. Left hand down, right hand up. Take an inhale. Exhale, right hand reaches towards the back of the mat. Inhale, bring that right hand all the way back up. And then exhale, bring that hand down. Let's move this now with breath. Super slow, don't rush it. Inhale, start to step that foot forward, lift up the left hand. And then exhale, slowly come back to your crouch. Keep moving through that. I'm just going to move this. So as we're moving now, you're going to have the opportunity to tuck your toes and push yourself back to a crouch, loading up the legs a little bit more. So working into this rounded spine as we move from the left to the right, taking the time to move slowly, consciously, be aware of everything that you are feeling in your body right now. It is not about how the practice looks. It is about how it feels in your body. So whenever you need to pause, you pause. There is no beginner, no advanced in yoga, I believe. You do what you can. If you have a body and you can breathe, then you can do yoga. We're going to take 2 more of these. How much can you pull your belly button in towards your backbone as you're working through here? Last one. Beautiful. From this position, we're now going to step our back foot forward and you'll land yourself into some sort of a squat. Doesn't matter what this looks like, just take your time to hang out here and let it feel good. You might want to move it around a little bit in your squat, just feel into it. From your squat, press your elbows into the inside of your knees and then let your head hang down and your bum goes high. We're going to inhale, lift the chin and the chest. Exhale, head down, bum high. Oh my God, my legs are cooked from the movement session this morning at Infuse Health. Thanks, Josh. Did a good job. So head down, bum up. And actually it was Sarah that taught this morning as well. So Sarah, if you watch this back, thank you. You absolutely cooked my legs. Appreciate it. So some of you might be like, shut up, Megs. When are you going to stop talking so that my legs can get a little bit of a breather? And again, if your mind has gone there, then again, you're not being present. So you're into the future, wondering when I'm going to stop talking. So I invite you to just come back to your breathing. You know, you don't know how long I'm going to be here for, and neither do I. So you may as well just surrender to it and yield and see if you can remain present through these beautiful movements in your body. When Wayne Dyer once said, you know, when you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. How do you choose to see this? From this position, we're now going to find a forward fold. See, I told you to be over soon. Bend your knees, soften your body, and let your head hang. You can let your hands just dangle. You can catch the opposite elbow. I don't mind. I invite you now just to take a few breaths here, stretching down that posterior chain. Breathe in. Breathe out. Super slowly, we're going to roll up our spine, 1 vertebrae at a time. Now, it may cut off my head, but that's okay. You don't need to see my head. So I'll continue talking through. From this position, bend into the knees slightly. Inhale, sweep your arms above your head. And exhale, bend your knees a lot and forward fold. Breathe in, find a halfway lift. So really draw the belly button in towards the backbone here and breathe out. Plant those hands down, step back, find your first high plank. In your first high plank, please make sure you're not pitching a tent, right? So we want to squeeze the glutes, pull the belly button up and in, and protract the shoulder blades. Always option to drop down to the knees here. My fingers are spread really wide, and primarily I'm pressing into the thumb and the second finger of both hands. Take a full breath in here in your plank pose, and then exhale, child's pose. So I want you to know that you can always pull back to a child's pose at any point, right? If you feel that you don't want to do the push-ups in this sequence, then please come back to a child's pose. That shape is always there if you need it. From your child's pose, we are going to slide forward, come onto our bellies, untuck your toes. From this position, we are going to start to oscillate our spine. So from here, I want you to lift your shoulders up near your ears. As you push into the hands, start to peel open. As you reach the top, the shoulders roll back and then peel back down your spine one vertebrae at a time. Let's keep going. Inhale, start to peel off one vertebrae at a time. And exhale, come back down. Do 3 more of these in your own time. So inhale, peel. And exhale, back down. 2 to go. Really tuning into how your spine feels right now. All right, last time through. Inhale, peel. And exhale, peel back down. Press the tops of your toes down into the ground. And we're going to bring the hands back beside the side of the body. So the fingertips are reaching towards the feet. And you can either stay here or lift off your feet off the ground. So coming into this beautiful locust pose, the option is to keep the feet on the ground. That is completely up to you. And really feel your scapula draw together here. So fingertips are on fire. Squeeze the inner thighs, lift the heels off. We're going to hold for 5. Hold for 4. Hold for 3. For 2. And for 1. Bring the hands back by the side of the body. Bring the feet closer together, tuck the toes. From this position, keep your head neutral. And I want you to push your heels back. Squeeze your quadriceps so much that your kneecaps lift. Now push into the hands, and you're going to lift your belly button off the floor and push up maybe about 5 centimeters. So we're going to hold this low chaturanga for the count of 5. Belly to spine for the count of 4. I know I'm counting slow for the count of 3. Count of 2. And 1. Push up, high plank. Well done. Exhale, downward facing dog. Quick little check-in here to make sure we are not judging ourselves on the things that we cannot do. Meet yourself where you are at. Be grateful for the things that you can do rather than the things you cannot. It is about shifting your dialogue. From this downward facing dog, we're going to slowly bring the right knee in towards the nose. So we're coming to this plank position here with the right knee really pulling up, shoulders over wrists. Taking a moment here to really zip the belly button into the spine. Start to flex the right foot and step the right foot outside the right hand. Dropping that left knee down, very, very slowly making your way up into a lunge. So for some of you, this might feel really nice. For some of you, maybe you interlace the hands behind. For some of you, maybe you reach up and lean back into a back bend. We're going to take 5 breaths here. Pushing down through that right heel, opening up the back hip flexors, breathe. Maybe your head drops back. Take 1 more breath in. As you exhale, from here, look down, walk to the left. So slowly walk yourself open, bend the left knee, straighten the right, and just move it around a little bit here. So opening up into the hip flexors, the groins and the adductors. Let this feel really nice. All right, from this position, We're going to walk back to the front. Now listen up here. We're going to turn the right foot forward. So the right ankle and right knee joint is in alignment. Hopefully I'm not going to headbutt the wall here. Bend your right knee a lot. And we're going to lift up our back leg, warrior 3 prep. So I've got a good decent bend in my right knee. My fingers are on the ground. My left ankle is not up here. It is in line with my left hip. So pull the belly button to the spine here. Take a full breath in. Now we're going to have fun here. We're going to bend the right knee a little bit. Bring the left knee in. Touch the left knee to the back of the right knee. Lift up that left heel. Maybe you bring your hands to your heart, Flamingo Pose. Holding for 5. Holding for 4. Holding for 3. Holding for 2 and 1. Bring your left foot to meet the partner at the front of the mat. Chair pose, breathe in. You guys are like, what the hell just happened? So am I, don't worry. Take a full breath in. Stay for the exhale. And then from here, fold forward. Let that go. Take an inhale, halfway lift. Plant those hands down, step back, high plank. Don't rush it. So easy to rush these things, and we realize there is so much power and play in the pause. Slowly chaturanga, knees or toes. Inhale, cobra or upward facing dog. If you come into up dog, draw the shoulders back and look forward. The thighs are off the mat, so try not to look up in your up dog. We really want to bring the sternum to the front of the mat. From this position, slowly come back. Find your way back to a downward facing dog. From here, as slow as possible, bring your left knee into your nose. No rush. Again, pause. Maybe you don't want to pause here. That's okay. Can you sit in the shittiness? When things become difficult, too quickly we run or numb or try to rush through it. I invite you to notice what you're feeling here in your body. Notice the emotion, notice the dialogue, and choose to be kind. From here, flex the foot, step the left foot outside the left hand, drop the right knee down. From here, just take your time, setting up your lunge. This is fine. This is nice. Maybe you interlace those hands and then just dive into the lunge. Listen to what your body needs. You have a couple of breaths. I'm really pushing down through my left heel, not my left toes. Take one more breath in. Super slowly unravel that. Tuck the back toe. We're walking to the right. Sorry, I have my back to you. Bend the right knee, straighten the left. Play around with this stretch here. Get into your groins, your hip flexors. Let it feel good. And super slowly walk back to the front. Rebend the left knee. Left ankle, left knee in alignment. Keep the left knee bent and lift up your right foot. Kick away with your right heel and square off your hips. Try to pull your belly button in towards your backbone here. How much can you kick away with that back heel so you feel your quadricep lift? Take a full breath in, and on your exhale, let's find that funky flamingo pose. So bring that right knee into the back of the left knee. Lift up your right heel so it's trying to like connect with your butt cheek. And maybe you play with that. I did say that we were going to get a little awkward. I'm really, really big on getting uncomfortable, myself included, because that is exactly where we grow. So maybe you stacked it here. Whatever is going on is perfect. Yoga is a practice of imperfection. Take one more breath. Slowly unhook that leg. Sink down into your heels. I am sweating. Sink into your chair pose. Take a full breath in, and then on your exhale, bring the arms behind you. Cool. So from here, we're now going to bring that flamingo pose back into play. So press through your right foot. Inhale, bring that left knee in towards the chest. We've been here before. So pressing down through that right heel. Now start to extend that left leg out behind you. Now I'm clearly a little limited with space here at the moment, but I'm going to do my best. This could be relatively entertaining for you guys just to see how I work with this space. Keep pushing away with that left heel. I have a soft bend in my right knee, and now I'm going to bend that knee more and more and more. Hold here in this super awkward half squat position. Take one more breath in and slowly find the back of your mat as we set up our Crescent Pose. Holy shit, it's hot in here. Push down with your right heel. And I want you to find the position in your lunge that works for you, right? Everyone's going to be different here, but I want you to really feel the pressure out of your right heel. So there's not much weight in my right toes whatsoever. And I'm getting a really nice decent stretch down my hip flexor and psoas muscle onto the left. Inhale, draw the hands up, exhale. Left hand comes forward. Right arm goes back, we twist. Breathe. Keep pressing out of your right heel. From this position, push through your right heel, windmill up to find warrior two. So I'm going to keep the sequence pretty, what's the word I'm looking for? Just focused on balance more than anything, a little bit of stability, and then we'll turn it into a flow. There will be options for those of us who want options as well. With your warrior two, this is traditional, but if you are holding any tension in your shoulders due to stress or anxiety or fear, doubt, worry, whatever, it might be really nice to crack open your heart. So feel free to grab those hands behind and open that heart space. Still pushing through that right heel. Take a full breath in and stay for the exhale. Inhale, sweep the right arm behind your head. As you exhale, we're going to bring the right elbow to the right knee. Parsvakonasana, side angle pose. Maybe you extend that left arm over the top. Maybe you bring that right hand down. This is about as far as I go with the wall. You find where you need to be here. Take a breath in. As you exhale, slowly sweep to the left. Skandasana. So you can stay here. You can drop down lower. I really don't mind here. So we're going to play a little bit with mobility. So just do this the best you can. So what we're going to do is sit down into our glutes. Beautiful. And then from here, we're going to bring the right hand behind us and just start to open up into like a little mini back bend here, however that is for you. Take a full breath in and slowly come back down. So the left foot is grounded, the right foot is out to the side. Now without your hands maybe, can you try to come back up? Walk yourself back to the front of your mat. The right knee bends, the left leg lifts, and we're bringing the hands to heart or the hands behind us, aeroplane pose. Staying here for a full breath in and a full breath out. I'm just going to move back a little bit. From your airplane pose, slowly push through that right foot. Bring your left knee all the way up to your belly height, and then we're going to open the left knee out to the side. Starting to do some hip circles here. This could be uncomfortable for you, but it should not be painful. Remember, our hip is a ball and socket joint. So retrain your hip to move the way it should. Too often we're sitting in chairs, teaching our hip that it's a hinge joint, not a ball and socket. That leads to unhealthy joints, an unhealthy spine, and a pretty rigid body. So reverse the direction here. Notice the heat that is building here into the glutes. Guys are doing really, really, really well. From this position, we're going to make our way down to seated. You're like, what? Totally. So I don't mind how you do that. Maybe it's a pistol squat. Maybe you put the foot on the ground. Maybe you use your hands. However it is, we're going to come all the way down to the ground. Don't overthink it. And we're going to set up for Navasana Bow Pose. So however you got here, that is perfect. Take a full breath in. And maybe on the exhale, you start to take off those hands. Pull the belly button to the spine. Breathe in. Maybe breathe out. Low boat. So really pulling that belly button in towards the backbone. Very sad dog through my tailbone. Maybe you hold here. Maybe you come back up. We're going to do this one more time or skip it. Legs go out in front. Breathe in. Breathe out. Beautiful. From here, hug your knees to your chest. Start to rock and roll. And maybe you rock and roll up through a vinyasa. Your choice. And we'll all meet in a downward facing dog. Woo, let that go. Let's take 5 breaths here. I'm one of those yoga teachers that gets really caught up in the moment, and I do a flow and I'm like, shit, where did I just go? So fingers crossed, you'll do the same, but who knows? You might end up with something completely different. The joys of yoga teaching and being present in the moment. So from our downward facing dog, we're going to make our way to our hands. However you get there is fine. Maybe you'd like to do a little hop. Maybe you'd like to do like a little handstand hop. No right or wrong. Have fun with that. Inhale, halfway lift. And exhale, fold forward. All right. From here, chair pose. Breathe in. Alrighty, we're going to ground down through that left leg now and pull the right knee up to the chest and the heel to the bum. So slowly finding that flamingo pose. You want to work harder, bend your left knee and compress through your core. So tuck that tailbone under, pull the belly to the spine. Super slowly, can you extend that right foot out the back? Squeeze the quad, push with the heel, breathe. Strong through the torso and the core here. Now, can you start to bend that left knee a lot and play with the balance? Listen to your knees. And how slowly can you step your right foot to the back of the mat, finding your way into Crescent Pose. Whew. Do what you need to do here to find your way into your lunge. So pushing down with the left heel, my feet are hip distance apart to help with balance. And again, please find the variation that works for you. It might feel nice to come here in this lunge, your choice. Wherever you are, take a breath in, and on your exhale, the right arm goes forward and the left arm goes back. We twist through the torso. Come back to your breath. Guys are doing really, really well. I have sweat dripping everywhere, just so you know. From here, push through your left heel, slowly windmill up and find warrior 2. So left knee nudges open. It is an external hip rotation on the left. Press into the blade edge of your foot on the right and try to loosen your left toes a little bit. We really want to use the glute medius by pushing into that left heel. Maybe you interlace those hands behind you and find this delicious space and opening into the heart. Breathe. Take one more breath in and stay for the exhale. From here, inhale, flip and reverse. And exhale, bring the left elbow to your left knee. Setting up Pajwakanasana side angle. Squeeze the shit out of your back leg. So really squeeze that back quad, lift up the kneecap. Maybe the left hand comes down to the ground. Right hand opens up, really open up the space of that right shoulder and breathe. Good, guys. Take an inhale. Stay for the exhale. From here, slowly push through that left foot. Travel yourself to the right and find Skandasana. So being here before should feel pretty good. So notice now the opening into the body. From here, we're going to sit down, right? So the left leg is out long. I've got the right heel on the ground. I'm going to sweep the left arm behind me, push through the right heel, and just find some sort of a back bend. Doesn't have to look like anything. The left leg can be straight or bent. Just open up that heart space. Take a full breath in and slowly come back down. Now, a little bit of a challenge here, of course. We are going to see if we can push through that right heel and come back up. Cool. And then from here, we're going to slide forward. Left foot faces forward here and lift up into aeroplane pose. Nearly had batting the wall. Just made it, I think. So if you can, start to peel that chest off a little bit. So we're really drawing the scapula together. Take a breath in. And stay for the exhale. Slowly bring that right knee all the way up to hip height. You got it? And then we're going to do some circles on that right hip. So start to circle your right hip around the joint. Notice the instability of your left foot. But our feet do not get stronger just by looking at them or putting them in shoes. Our feet need to be feet again, and they need to come out of shoes to do that. So if you find you're having knee issues or hip issues or low back issues, you need to look at what's going on with your feet. And if the muscles on the underside of your feet are starting to collapse. There are 33 joints, 26 bones, and 4 layers of muscle on our feet alone. And if we are constantly putting them in shoes, we are going to end up with big issues upstream in our body. Alrighty, from this position, we're going to find that fun little pistol squat. So the right knee is about hip height. I don't mind how you do this. Start to come down to the ground. Maybe use your hands, maybe you've fallen, that's okay too. And we find our way into Navasana Bow Pose. Cool. I want you this time to bring your quads in as close to your torso as possible and keep them there. So use your hip flexors and the palms go out in front. Hold for a breath in. Exhale, point the toes, squeeze the quads, tuck the tailbone under. Inhale, lift. Exhale, low boat. Inhale, lift. Exhale, low boat. Again, if you're wondering how many we're doing, I don't know. So get out of your head, come into your body, notice if you can keep going or if you need to rest. That's going to be completely up to you. Inhale and exhale. 2 more. Inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. Bring the knees into the chest. Give them a little bit of a hug. Start to rock and roll. This time, why not? We might try to rock and roll ourselves into crow pose. So, as we do this, the ankles will cross, you'll lean forward, the elbows on the inside, the knees, maybe I headbutt the wall, I don't know, and then find your way back through a vinyasa, child's pose. It does not matter what just happened there. If we, in our minds, think, my God, why can't I do that? Right? And we get frustrated with ourselves, we judge ourselves, we criticize ourselves for something that we cannot do. It gets us nowhere. For years and years and years, I practiced yoga with the thought in my mind of, why can't I be better? It needs to look like that. It needs to be perfect. When in fact, it already is. This is it right now, how it is right now without the need for more. You have all you need. Always remember that. So we're going to come up, we're going to do a little bit of hip flexor work because this stuff's fun. Onto our knees, and I'm going to show you where we're going. Now, if you have a yoga block, definitely recommend using it because it's going to be an extension of your arm. So I'm just going to demonstrate first where we're going, okay? So we pretty much start from plank pose. We'll come forward, we step into a lunge. From the lunge, and again, I'm just going to demonstrate first. My left hand is on the block. I'm squeezing my tricep, and then I'm going to protract. So I've got to use compression in my core to get my left foot through to the left side. So I'm pushing down through my right heel. I'm starting to angry cat my spine, lifting that left knee in, very similar to the Flamingo Pose, really hard to talk, flexing the foot and kicking it through. And then I'm going to push into the block and step back. So we're going to go for 3 of those on each side. Doesn't matter if anything doesn't happen, but it's a great practice to try it again and see if things change over time. So let's keep the block at the front of the mat and find a downward facing dog. Last bit of fire before we bring this into a little bit of yin and call it a game. From this position, inhale, ripple through high plank. Beautiful. From this position, bring your right foot outside your right hand. Great. And we're going to place the block underneath the left hand. Okay, right foot forward. We've got the block underneath the left hand. From here, the right arm reaches forward. Start to round your upper back. Bring your left knee into your nose. Maybe you stay here or kick through, flex the foot, pull the toes back. Push through the right foot, step back to a lunge. Without thinking about it 2 more times. Let's go up and then through. So think of the angriest cat you have ever seen. Therefore, your compression will help you get that back foot all the way through and then Come back, right hand goes down, downward facing dog. Well done, everyone. Last time through, ripple through high plank. Super slowly step your left foot outside the left hand. The block now will be on the right side if you need it. So again, work through the compression, push through the right hand, round the spine, bring that right knee through, kick the right heel away. Slowly come back up and find a lunge. Round two, lift the knee in, kick through the heel, and back up. Find a lunge. Last time through, push through the heel, kick through, flex the foot, and step back. This time, both hands on the ground, high plank. Exhale slowly for 5, 4, 3, 2, push back up, high plank. Probably weren't expecting that, neither was I. Lower to low plank for 4, 3, don't worry, I won't do it again. 2, but this time we're going to hold for 5, 4, 3, 2, and lower yourself down to your belly. For years and years and years, I had this conception about yoga. Oh, yoga's not hard. It's slow. You don't get a good workout. I'll let you be the judge of that. For me, slowing down was what I needed to do to help my mind. I used to live in a world of judgment and comparison, a world of blame, a world of overdoing, busyness, stress, all of that. Everything was fast. I didn't know how to stop. So when I started to really practice yoga after I had a breakdown when I went to Bali, it taught me to pause. And there is so much power in the pause, and that's how I started to heal my mental health. The food addictions, the exercise addictions, the constant going forward and backward into thoughts that did not serve me. I was able to learn how to become present and choose with kindness instead. So for me, yoga, I'm so forever grateful. So we're taking 3 more breaths here in Sphinx Pose. Shut down your eyes. Notice now your body. Maybe your heart's beating like mine is. Maybe you're sweaty. Maybe you feel really good. Enjoy that. Take 1 more breath in. And on your exhale, I just invite you to slowly come down to the ground. And I want you to turn your cheek one direction and let everything go. And shut down your eyes. So beautiful time to now focus on your breath. Just simply noticing the inhale and the exhale. That's all you need to do. Gently turn your cheek the other direction. Now when you feel ready, we're just going to slowly roll to one side and come up. Now we're going to actually do a straddle today to get into our adductors and our groins. Now if a straddle pose doesn't work for you, you can always sit yourself onto the edge of a blanket or roll yourself into the wall, right? So you come in this way and find space where your legs can be up the wall like that if folding forward is not for you today, okay? But if you are coming into a seated forward fold, we are going to extend the legs out long, slight tuck of the tailbone under, and we're going to take a full breath in. And as we exhale, just start to fold forward. We're going to take this as a yin pose. So I want you to let go of the need to strive or to go further forward. This is convenient. Maybe you have a bolster that you're resting your head on like this, right? Maybe it's a cushion, maybe it's a couple of blocks, but I invite you to kind of soften your upper body. Maybe it's your furry friend who's just walked in like mine to provide that support for this seated forward fold. So find where you need to be and let yourself settle down. So close down your eyes and just be. Holding on to anything gets us nowhere. Holding on to thoughts, holding on to the things that we've said, holding on to the things we should have said, holding on to the things we didn't say, holding on to judgment, holding on to resentment, holding on to blame, holding on to shame, holding on to guilt, does us no favors. There's an old Zen story that shares this well, and I remember sharing this with my nan on the day of her passing. Two monks, a wiser monk and a younger monk, were on their way to walk into the village. There'd been a lot of rain and storms, and as they came down the mountain, the river that they were crossing was quite turbulent and rough. And at the edge of the river, there was a lady who was, of course, quite distressed and unable to cross. The younger monk didn't think twice as he went and waded across the stream using his strong legs to get to the other side. And the older, more wiser monk, again, didn't think twice and threw the lady on top of his back and waded through the stream and dropped her at the other side. Without an acknowledgement or a thank you, she continued on her way. And so did the wiser monk and the younger monk. Over 2 hours later, the younger monk, frustrated and angry, turned to the wiser monk and said, "Why did you carry her across the stream? You know we can't touch females. You know we can't even pick them up." And he said, "I left her back at the riverbed over 2.5 hours ago. Why are you still holding on to her?" The things that we hold on to store in our bodies as tension, injuries, inflammation, sickness, and disease. Nothing in this life is ever meant to be held on to. We have this moment right here. It comes, it goes, it is what it is. Allow yourself not to cling or attach to anything or to suppress it and push it down. Take one more breath in and stay with your exhale. Very, very slowly we're going to come up, and please take your time to roll down onto your backs. As we finish this practice now, we're going to take a brief spinal twist. So taking your time to find that space onto the ground now. Lying in a supine position, bringing your left knee over to your right side and your right arm out to the side. I want you to see if you can let your scapula be heavy on the ground. And then just close down your eyes. Your right knee definitely does not have to touch the ground. Just coming into this beautiful supine twist. Focus on your inhale and your exhale. Let's take one more breath in and stay for the exhale. Super slowly come back up to center, pause a moment. And then just let your left knee flop over to your right. Allow the left arm to flop open to the left. Relax your scapula, close your eyes. Take one more breath in and a breath out. Rolling yourself onto your back. I'm going to take you through a Shavasana. Too often we're like, I need to rush to go to the next thing. And if that's you, I invite you to stay a little longer. Let yourself melt down onto the floor. The palms are open. Let the body just completely relax here. Take a huge breath in and open the mouth and let it go. Give yourself this time to pause. Surround not only your body but your heart and your mind with gratitude. Paying particular attention to how it feels in your heart to say thank you. To say thank you for your body. Thank you for getting the opportunity to have today. And thank you for whoever it was that you got to see today, to spend time with, to get outside, to play, to move, to just be. Let that fill you up from the inside out. Please feel free to stay if you can stay a little longer. If not, I invite you to come back to that 3-part breath we did at the start. Breathe in, belly, rib cage, and lungs. Breathe out, lungs, rib cage, and belly. Inhale an immense sense of gratitude and appreciation. And exhale, give yourself permission to let something go. Wriggle your toes, your fingers. Maybe you point your toes, you squeeze your quads and just re-wake up. There's no rush to roll to your side. Eventually bring yourself up to seated. And I invite you to maybe keep your eyes closed or downcast. So take a moment here to just pay attention to how you feel. Notice the state of your body now. Pay attention to any emotions or feelings that are there. And give yourself just the permission to allow. I see you, body. I feel your emotion. And it's okay. Ask yourself the question, what is it that my heart needs? And let yourself receive. When you feel ready, gently bring your hands to your heart space as you honor yourself and say thank you. Your thumbs gently to the mouth as you pay attention to the words you speak, for they become the house you live in. And the thumbs to the third eye as you honor your practice, your self-care, and your giving back to yourself. None of us can pour from an empty cup. From my heart to yours, namaste. Thank you so much, everyone. I would love to know how you found that. I do, of course, have many practices on YouTube. Between yin, movement, yoga, and also now starting to share in my book, of course, WatchYALanguage. So at the end of that practice, I mention those 3 things. You know, I see you, body. I feel your emotion. What is it that my heart needs? They're the first 3 steps of the Be Here method, and they actually stem from old Buddhism teachings of landing ourselves in presence. So at any time, if we feel overwhelmed, anxious, too fast, too busy, or we're getting caught up in the worry, doubt, and fear that is around at the moment, please remember that you have a choice. Unfollow people on Facebook if they're not making you feel good. Choose not to give your attention to the things that make you feel flat. You have that choice as to what you want to be. So Rumi once said, be the light that you wish to see in the world. That is completely up to us right now. You guys are amazing. Thank you so much. Again, I did put a post up before today because of the lockdown, of course, in Newcastle. It has probably thrown a lot of people. So if you are wanting tools on presence, I have at the moment my WatchYALanguage 6-week immersion that is online. So the second session out of 6 starts tonight, but you can always go back and watch the first session. It is all recorded. So I share mindfulness, I share the Be Here method that I talk about in my book, I show movement practices, and of course meditation. There is also a 6-step yin yoga beginner practice that I have also offered to these guys as well. So if you are interested to jump on, again, the session is tonight at 7:30 p.m. and I can add you into the group now. And you can just go back and watch the first video whenever you have the time. I appreciate it, guys. I'd love to know how you found that. Let me know if you want me to do any other yoga practices here online, or maybe a yin sequence. I'd love to hear from you. Have the most amazing day.